Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with some brand new Zuru Toys Dino Strike figures. There's a brand new line of them out, and this time we've got color change dinosaurs. As you can see, we've got the Dino Strike color change line this time around. Same type of image I think we saw in the last round of these with the Rex, and then this like crazy weapon here on its back and up on its head. Looks pretty cool. I don't know exactly what species are in this line, so I am very excited to pop some of these open and then find out again what we have inside. The only thing I did figure out after looking at the display at my local Target is I think they're all dinosaurs this time around. Sometimes they include like, vehicles and stuff, but I think they're all dinosaurs, although some are skeletons, not, living dinosaurs. But we'll just have to wait and see what we get here. So let's go ahead and pop the first one open. If I can figure out if there's a certain spot, there it is. So we'll just yank that down, and it doesn't go all the way. We'll just yank this down then. And that doesn't come all the way off. So let's just pull it all off now. So there we go. We now at least have the plastic off. Oh, actually, I was wrong, because there's also some more plastic underneath. There, we finally have all the plastic off. So let's just move these ones here off to the side, get them out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and see what we've got contained in this one. So you have to pull that little circle off there that also doesn't want to come off. There we go. Boy, these ones are being definitely a pain in the butt today. But we'll go ahead and pop the first part open here and see what we have. So instantly I can tell you we have the Therizinosaurus, which looks to be the exact same Therizinosaurus that we had before, but with new paint on it. I don't know if there are any actual new species entering the line this time around. I'm hoping there's a booklet in here to kind of give me a clue as to what's going on with this line and what species we might have to find potentially, which I think would also help to decide whether or not I'm going to pursue all of them or just, check them out this time around, see what ones we get with this for, and then maybe call it a day with this line, because I'm not going to buy every single one if it's just all repaints. Although I love my repaints, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world would be to acquire a full line of Zuru dinos, just because they sometimes can be pretty hard to get, considering they're all like, blind eggs, I guess you could call them, not really blind bags. But we've got this little booklet here, which is not going to give us the amount of dinosaurs in this, but it kind of gives you an example of what you can do with your figures and how to assemble it. But here's what we're looking for, and I just dropped it. Here's what we're looking for to give us an idea as to what ones we've got in this round. So we've got a Rage Raptor. We have a Strikosaur, which looks like a Stygimoloch potentially. We've got Danger Dino, which is clearly the Therizinosaurus, and Attack T-Rex. We've got a Stegosaurus. There's also the Plesiosaur that we had before. And then over here on this side, you can see we've also got the Triceratops, the Pteranodon, another Velociraptor, so potentially just a different color variant, the Ankylosaurus, which is now the Ankylosaurus, and then we've got some rare ones, which are the skeletons, as we've got it looks like a Spinosaurus, a Triceratops, and a T-Rex skeleton. So some pretty cool stuff this time around, but I am definitely sad to see that there are no new species entering the line, so not really anything too spectacular this time around, but still some pretty fun, I guess, repaints. And this one is definitely going to be interesting, I'm sure. It's the Therizinosaurus that looks strikingly like the Schleich Therizinosaurus. So we'll pop all the limbs on here. So here is the Therizinosaurus this time around as far as these Dino Strike figures go. We've got a greenish color scheme for it with kind of like a light brown and then this nice green, almost like a Christmas type of a green running along the back of the figure. And then again, we have a little bit of like an injury type look here, as we have a few slices that are painted with a purplish tone. Not too much else going on with the figure as far as the paintwork or anything. It's definitely your standard as far as these type of figures and the paint application that's usually included. And you can see that we've got this kind of little like shoulder gear thing here going on, and then actually I think I have that the wrong way. There we go. And then we've got some headgear, and it also includes a weapon. So Very cool figures. I do like them, and they are really neat. I just wish that Zuru would introduce more species more often. Once in a while, we'll get some new species, but it seems like rather than giving us new sculpts and new species, they would prefer to give us the same reused sculpts with different paint jobs. So we've got another one here opened and ready to find out what dino we have inside. And this time it looks like we have the Plesiosaur. Definitely the Plesiosaur, as we've got some flippers, and no other species in this line has flippers to my knowledge. So, especially after we just saw that, packaging slip there telling us what figures we were going to have in here. Boy, it's really quite the task to find the actual body. There we go. So we'll go ahead and get that all out of there. So there we go. Our Plesiosaurus is now put together, and you can see it looks really nice, actually. Like, I really do like the coloration they've chosen for this one. Again, there's not really too much going on, but we do have coloration here on the underneath with a light gray, and then we have a similar, actually, tone to what we see on the Therizinosaurus back there for the primary body color, and then these really cool kind of bluish. It's actually like a mixture of blue and purples up here on the spots and everything here on the back. And then, of course, you have the sort of like weaponizing of your Plesiosaur. Do I have that on right? Maybe? I'm not sure. I always forget how this goes on. Oh, there we go. Now I got it on right. And then you have weapons that you can put on the sides. Basically, weapons for each side, so you can kind of put them here. And then you've got two guns, or I believe you can actually put them on the side. So they kind of give you options as far as where you can put them. And I do like the Dino Strike figures because they have a kind of a Dino Riders vibe to them, so that's always fun. And there's also some headgear. There we go. And there's nothing wrong with a Dino Riders vibe going on, and this definitely has it as far as the Dino Strike line goes. Obviously not as great as the Dino Riders line, but still pretty cool. And then the next one is hopefully not a repeat, because now that we are 2 in, I feel like there is an increased risk of that occurring. So what do we have in here? Do we have a body part? Oh, we have the Pteranodon this time. All right, so definitely no repeats yet, although I would have preferred to have found the Rex or one of the Raptors. Oh, that one's actually got some pretty cool bright weapons, some pretty cool bright missiles for this one. And apparently the way to change the color of them would be to run them under cold or hot water, or you could probably use a hair dryer, I'd imagine. But I'm not sure. Again, that would be up to you and your preferences to how you'd like to do it. And then we've got the extras there. And then the fun begins, and that is, of course, the construction of our figure, which is always the most ridiculous part because it sometimes can be a hassle to get them actually put together. But we'll go ahead and throw these pieces on quick. The Pterosaur is actually coming together pretty quickly, which is definitely nice because the Plesiosaur was not easy to put together. That one was a bit of a nightmare. Took me a little while, especially in like the head and neck area, just did not want to go on. But this Pterosaur absolutely is just coming together really quickly. So there we go. The Pterosaur is now together. We have our Pteranodon completely put together, and I definitely like the colors of this one. I really quite like it, and I like the look of him as well. Similar look to the head sculpt as the Pteranodon that we also reviewed recently. It was like a bigger version of their figures that they had out, which I actually was a pretty big fan of those figures. But this one again has the type of gear you would expect it to have. Goes on like this, I think. Maybe it doesn't want to stay on. Oh, I see, because there's a piece that goes on the underside. Sometimes it takes me a minute to really grasp the obvious. And then we've got a weapon that we can throw here on the top of our Pterosaur, and then I can drop him. And then we also have another weapon that we can kind of put down here, so we can really weaponize. If only we had one more, we could put over here, and we'd have weapons everywhere. But there is our Pteranodon. Oh, I got a piece of thing on me. But there is our Pteranodon now completely weaponized and ready to go. And I like that you can kind of maneuver them around and aim them in different directions and everything. That is always pretty fun. And again, you can really see that Dino Riders homage here being paid by the Dino Strike line. And then the final one that we have is this one. We just gotta pop the top off here, and then we'll see if we got a repeat this time, or if we did escape with all different figures. I'm gonna go ahead and say the fact that we have one of these means that, no, maybe not. At first I was a little let down because I thought that I had just got the Pteranodon again, because You can see they're the same color, but the appearance to the missiles are actually quite different. So maybe we do have a different species here. Let's see what we've got in this one here, which might tell us who it is. And now the pieces just fell everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and say it's most likely the Ankylosaurus. That's what I'm thinking just by those legs right there. And I was absolutely correct, because there are the other pieces to the Ankylosaurus. Egg, ball, whatever you want to call this. There's the primary body. And then the extra pieces that come with it. Oh, there's something that fell. The instructions. And as it turns out, even though they, tell you to use the hot water, cold water, or whatever to change the coloration of the figure, it also helps to get the leg on, because this leg right here, well, actually, no, it was this leg, absolutely impossible to get on unless I ran some hot water over it. And even then, I don't know how perfect it's on there, but that one was really tricky. It was definitely tough. But again, it's the exact same sculpt that we've had previously in the Dino Strike range with new coloration. You can see we've got a gray here for the back, and then kind of like a brownish tone for the body, and then you've got blue for, I guess, what would be the injury here for the Ankylosaurus. But all of them, again, are exactly the same sculpts that we've had before in the line, just new paint apps for each. So there we go. We have our Ankylosaurus now armored up and ready to go. So I just knocked the Therizinosaurus over because it's not balanced out very well. Doesn't like to stand. Regardless, we have a new line of Dino Strike figures out, and they are pretty fun, but they're not really that great. It seems like it's been a little while since we actually had some new species, or even new sculpts in general, enter the Dino Strike line. We basically just seem to be getting more and more repaints rather than new figures. And it was exciting if originally, like when this line had hit, because every new line introduced new dinosaurs. So that was really exciting, because you always look forward to the next line and what they would have to offer that time around, like, a Margosaurus, a Brachiosaurus, things like that. We were getting new versions of those dinosaurs. And then all of a sudden now it seems like it's basically always repaints, which is still cool, but it just could be a lot cooler if they would introduce more new species into the line. But again, we have some pretty fun versions this time around, as we have quite a few different species, at least. Definitely a pretty long line that we had seen in that booklet of different species entering the lineup this time around. And the figures are pretty cool, pretty much just as nice as they've always been. Fairly nice looking, quite natural looking, I would say, for the most part. Paint schemes on the figures. All of the paint seems to be applied nicely, looks pretty good as a whole. And of course, we have the Dino Riders kind of feel for the figures, which is always a huge plus. One of the biggest appeal factors, I think, for the Dino Strike line are the similarities between this and Dino Riders. And then there is also the aspect of that kind of color changing sort of gimmick that they have for these new ones. Even though it's not something I'm particularly interested in, it's still something that many people, I'm sure, will have fun with. So not really that great, but still kind of cool. If you'd like to see me grab a few more eggs and maybe try my hand at getting a few of the other species, let me know. Maybe I'll pick a few more eggs up again and try to unbox them and see what I get next time around. But regardless, if you are interested in these, head to your local Target, because that's where I found these, and make sure you grab some of these brand new color changing Dino Strike figures. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.